I wanted to come back with a second video just covering weft placement in a little bit more detail. So somebody on my online course just asked how to add in a third weft bundle when the two weft bundles that you're working with are either side of the loom and you're wanting to put something extra in here. Now, in my experience, the only way to do this is to put a line in. And I'll just show you how to do that. If you just wanted to put in a tiny bit of detail, I'll just show you. I'm just getting some pink yarn. And what we would do to put a line in, so you can again put it anywhere you like, and again this is what I do on my pieces of work, is I put lots of little lines in. And you want to try and avoid these weft joins already, which is why it's good to have it in different colours. But you want to try and avoid doing more weft turns above these little splits already. So I'll just come in randomly, so coming under the hill. And so to do a line, we'd pull the warp right through, pack it down, and then we need to complete the pass. So do 2 rows of the line to make sure we're in the same shed, the correct shed. So you want to come back in, just come in and do a pigtail wherever you need to, and then do the same with this side. So I've got a slightly too long piece of yarn in my hand, but that's all right. And then because we've got a hill and a valley, we need to come under the 2 to create the pigtail. So again, do see my video about pigtails in a bit more detail. So I've put a line in, and then what we can do is get the original thread or yarn and just come to meet that pink line we've put in, and then come back to the side. So that's how to put a bit of detail in between 2 weft bundles, like so. And the same with the blue on this side. Just come to meet the pink and then come back. And then how to cover the line, again what I do all the time, is you get your original colour. So we've just matched the line, so we've met it and we've returned, come back to the selvages. So what we're going to do now is need to come over that line, come over that detail, and again I try and turn around away from the joins, so I'd avoid that little area and try and avoid that little area, just if I can. If you can't, then that's okay. So I'm just going to come to there, and the same with the blue. These weft bundles are now getting quite short, but I'm just going to come, I know I'm not doing my usual taking care of the selvages, but this is just for the sake of this exercise. So I'm just going to look where the join is, and I'm going to make sure I turn around in a different place, so I can turn around here and come back. And I'll bring the cream back to the side as well. And then I'm just going to come back with some fresh yarn. I'm going to put new weft bundles on, and then I'll just show you how to do that again. So I just finished off my short weft bundles here either side just by pigtailing them at the edges, which, like I said, isn't ideal, but we're just doing this for just to show you how to insert lines. So what I've done is I've got some green this time, and I'm going to make a bigger line somewhere in the centre again. So let's make it really big. So I'm going to come under a hill, and it's just completely random. That's quite a long line. Make sure you have long tails either side. Make your arch, pack that down, and then just come back to somewhere, doesn't have to be centred, just somewhere that you want to. So I'll come under 1 on the left hand side and make the pigtail and come under. So I've come under 1 at this side, it means on this side I'll be coming under 2, I'll have to come under a hill and a valley, and it will click, I promise you, with pigtailing. And that's inserted another line, and then I'm just going to get a new weft bundle of the cream. So I have to start at the selvages, because if we start at this side and come this way and back, we're going to be in the wrong shed. So we do have to come in from the selvage. I'll try again, explain that in a bit more detail as to why. I'll show you examples. So I'm just going to come back to the right hand side. So I'm just going to put my new piece of blue on as well. It's a bit thicker, this wool, so a bit harder to thread. So coming under a hill, over a valley. I always tell students in the early days just to pay attention to your shed. You'll know when something's gone wrong because you will see warp, and you'll just see you've done something but maybe not quite sure what. So there again, we've got a lovely new line, and if you look all the way across, the alternate warps are all in the correct shed, which is perfect. And now just going to take the blue and we're going to come over the green line, and that's then how I just pack that new line in. So just going to come, I'm just going to avoid that join there, so I'll come further, come to there, doesn't matter, just for, you say, just for the sake of practice. And then this time I'm coming all the way back straight away to the selvage. So you can either do it blue, cream, and then blue, cream, but this time I'm just showing you can do it either way as you get more confidence. So that's the blue done. And then the cream, I'm just going to come over and meet the blue, always meeting, never overlapping, and then come back to the side. And that is how you'd put a line in, and isn't that really pretty? That's really, really pretty, isn't it? So I'm going to show you on this I did again. So where I've put lines in, I'll just get my needle. So you can see I've put lines in here and here and here and here. I use them all the time. It's a lovely way to give the effect of shadows, and to show you how you can introduce a colour in a little tiny amount before you then bring it in a bit more at the side. So that's how I work on these pieces, just hatching and lines, that's all that is. And of course just having the confidence to choose colours in the moment. But I'm going to show you next how, if you wanted to have 3 weft bundles on the go again, I'll show you the correct placement for that. So I'll get another colour. Right, so you remember in the previous video I said about where to place weft bundles when you want to bring a new one. So where these are currently, we can't bring in a new weft bundle. We can only bring in the lines, like I said, or else our shed will be completely and utterly mixed up. So the way to bring a new weft bundle is like this. So bring these 2 into the middle, or where you want them to meet. You want the different colours to meet. So let's make it really different. Let's bring the cream much further over. So I'm just again taking care of my selvages. And coming all the way over the blue to leave that one warp in the middle, like so. So when the weft bundles are in this position, so when the little tails are touching, or like I said before, when the magnets are attracting, we could bring in 2 more weft bundles straight away. Could bring in 1 here and 1 here. Okay, so I'll get some yellow. I'll just bring in 1 again to start with. So we're coming in with the yellow at this side. And this time I'm just going to do 1 row in each colour just to keep it really simple. You can see the threads get a little bit tangled the more you have on. Right, it's a bit stickier using this thicker wool. So I'm just going to come round the spare warp and come back to meet the yellow. So just done one row, one pick just to meet that yellow. But we can't leave the bundles in this position because again we'd be in the wrong shed. We have to take the blue back to the left, and then you can just check where all your weft bundles are. It's just good to get into the habit of checking where they all are. And give it a bit of a pack down. So they're right where they need to be. We've got the blue and white opposing away from each other. We've got the yellow and the white touching. And then we again can bring the blue back to where you want it to be roughly. So this time I'm just going to take care of my selvage first. Just get into that good habit. And just going to come over the cream this time. Not very far, just about there. Then I'm going to bring the cream to meet it. And I'm going to bring the yellow back to the side. So I must bring the yellow back to the side as well to complete the pass. And then we are back where we want to be again. We've got two together and the yellow and white opposing each other. Okay, so you can get even more complicated. I'm going to bring in another one at this side. So I'm going to get an orange, and I hope this comes up well on camera, fingers crossed. I hope it's enough of a difference. So I'm going to bring in a fourth weft bundle. And again, doing it from the selvage. So, going to notice what I've got here. So I've got a valley and a hill. So I'm going to come under two with my needle and make my pigtail. And bring it as far as I want to come. So when I'm working like this, the colour's going to be a lot more similar. So I'm just doing it in a really, really different colour system, just so you can see how all my weft bundles are. Now automatically, just out of habit, I was going to take the orange straight back to the side, but for filming purposes, I'll just do it really slowly. So I'll now get my blue and I'll wrap it around the spare warp and I'll bring it back to meet the orange, like so. So you can see now, hopefully I'm just going to come over the yellow, you can see now where you need to place the new weft bundles when you're adding weft bundles. So you've got 4 now on the go, so we've got 2 together here and 2 together here. Okay, so again we couldn't add in another one in this area, but we could put a line in. Okay, so we could put a line of colour in here again. Okay, and doing exactly the same as we've done down here. Okay, but again I go over this again, I'll go over this again in new courses I'm about to film as well in a lot more detail. I'm just going to bring the orange back to the side. Just taking care not to remember not to pull too tight. Just have it just nice at that sweet spot so you don't have a hole. And then just say come to here this time. It's really random. And then just bring the cream back to meet the blue. To there. Like so. And then get the yellow and come across. So now we are really starting to see where all the different weft bundles are. Okay, so now what I wanted to show you, so we've got 4 on the go, and how I then decrease my weft bundles is I normally get rid of them when they're at the sides. So we quickly brought in the orange and the yellow, and a way to get rid of them quickly is to just pigtail off at the side. Okay, so you can either get rid of one or you could get rid of the outside two. You could do one or two. So if I pigtail off that orange, and then it means with the blue I can just come right on top. It's as simple as that. Just come on top of it. And that's it. You've dropped an extra weft bundle just like that. And then I could do the same with this, or I could decide to keep it going a bit longer with the 3. But you can see we're currently not in the right positions. So that's over here, that's going in the same direction, so that's not right. So this we know needs to come back this way, back towards the yellow. We'll come to about there. So I'll just show you a bit more gradually. So we'll keep the yellow for a bit longer. Like that. And then what I could do instead, just to be really different, rather than dropping the yellow, is I could drop this blue. So I could just pigtail off at this side. So I've dropped off the blue. Just trim that pigtail, so I always leave a tail. And then I can come right across on top of that with the cream. So I really hope that makes sense. It's very easy when you know how, but it can be really puzzling when you're just learning. So that's got rid of the blue, and then keep the yellow on. And like I said, that's how I just make it up row by row, just in the absolute moment. Just make up exactly where my weft bundle is going to be. So now with the yellow I can come as far as I want. So again, this would be a similar colour on my loom. It wouldn't be quite so drastically different, but it just really does show you what you can do. So come to there and then meet it. So you're in the middle. So again, at this stage you could bring in a new weft bundle either side, here and here, with a slightly different variation of colour. It's really good if you're working with 4 fine yarns and you're doing colour blending. I could bring in 2 new ones again, and we've got this lovely, you could see if these were all like similar green colours, we'd have some lovely movement going on. So that's really, really useful, isn't it? So what we can do now is we could bring the cream back to the side. And just one thing I'll show you, if you're bringing the cream back to the side, you can't just suddenly decide to go over this one with the yellow. You always have to come back first to the right hand side just to complete your pass. Okay, so you come all the way back to the right hand side, like so. Now we could, just so it looks slightly better for filming, I'll drop the yellow. So I'm going to pigtail off at this right hand side, trim that off, and then now I'm right back down to 1 weft bundle again, and we can go all the way across like so. And that is how you increase and decrease weft bundles. So there you go. So I hope that's been really helpful, and if you have any questions, if you want me to film that again, please do let me know. But that is how you do that.